Hi there, so welcome. I just wanted to say a quick hello before Anya joins me on the next little recording that we just did together. And I just wanted to take this chance to just give you a little bit more information about the Creative Scotland retreat that Ania Rolinska and myself are organising in April this year. If you are interested, do enjoy the following 15 minutes or so chat that we had with each other, discussing the ideas that we have, the concepts, why we put this tour together. If you'd like a little bit more information, I'm just going to share my screen very quickly and just show you where you can find it. So if you'd like to go to my website, charlottebellamy.com, and if you then run from the home screen, you can then go. So here you'll land on the home screen. If you go to the education and drop down to the photo tours and retreats, you will find it's the first one that appears here. Time for Creative Exploration, Scotland Photography and Retreat. Location is Scotland. It's located about an hour and a half north of both Glasgow and Edinburgh. It's sort of equidistant, a little bit further from Edinburgh, but you could fly into either. If you'd like any more information, please go and have a check out of this. If you click on the more information sign, it will then take you also to the option to view a brochure. If you click in and would like to go and view this brochure, you can zoom out and you can click through, and there'll be plenty of all the information you could possibly want about the location, what to expect, the day plans, transport plans, catering, everything that you might want to need. I hope you can find in there. If you'd like to contact me, you can put down a deposit if you'd like to. I have just one double room and one shared twin room left. You can book as a twin share, or you can book as a double room if that's what you'd like. But anyway, if you'd like to contact me, or book direct and make a booking, like I said, very last space is available. It'd be lovely for you to join me. Enjoy the chat I have with Anya, and I will put the links to the website also in the YouTube information underneath. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy. Hi there, I'm Charlie Bellamy, and this is Ania Rolinska, and
Hello.
we are here to have a little chat to each other and to explain a little bit more about our creative retreat in Scotland that we are planning in April in this year. What we thought would be nice to do is just have a chat with each other and go through a couple of questions with outlines so that you can just get a feeling for what to expect if you haven't booked, and if you have already booked, get your appetite going towards what's going to happen. So we've just got a couple of questions to ask each other. Shall I go first, Anya, and ask you to talk about our photography values and what photography means to you? Where did you start, and how's it involved in your life on a daily basis?
Okay, thank you. So for me, photography, I see it as a practice, as a creative practice, life practice. And it is something that even if I don't do it, I think about it a lot. And I think what I could be doing, or what I could be doing with the images that I have already taken, or what images I could be taking next, what sort of things I could be experimenting with, etc. For me, photography is a bit kind of a fluid medium. What I mean by this is I like combining it with other media, and I like kind of a pushing boundaries of photography a little bit by combining it with painting maybe, or with fabrics, with metal, and kind of to create images that are maybe abstract and a little bit more, what we would refer to as creative, kind of going beyond capturing images, realistic images, which is also what photography is about. What else? Maybe one thing more. I'm very much interested in the process of actually making an image, and that's when I think I feel at my happiest. Photography or art in general is a bit of a kind of a therapy for me. Happy place, a happy bubble where I can be myself. I love photographing outdoors. So it's also being close to nature, in nature. And that is also something that I really value. And it's about experimentation and playing. I love playing.
I remember
So
when you first came over here in Holland, and I gave you a challenge, and you were asked, and I said, you need to do something to your photo, and you immediately asked for a needle and thread. And
yes.
I knew I was on to somebody that was like completely like out of the box thinking, and it was just so exciting. And I felt kind of quite, you know, not basic, but I felt like I hadn't really even thought that far beyond. And it's really exciting how far you go with your photography. You know, you just don't stop at the print. And that's a really big part of the Scotland tour that we're going to be running, isn't it? Because it's going to be a lot more about not just the photograph, but how you can take it even further. And I think as standard as photographers, we often think a photograph, and if you get it into print, brilliant, because so many people don't even manage that, but
Yeah.
not many people ever think beyond the print. And I think it's really exciting to be able to take the creativity a little bit further.
But I think we share some. I mean, like we share some of those values, because you like experimenting with photography as well, and you combine it with painting, and with other media, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. You should see the box of stuff behind me. I've got everything from gel prints to paint, acrylics to watercolors. I've even got paintings here on my wall that I do, and I do love combining and extending, and even with words as well as art as well. And I think that's a really, really fun thing to do. And like you, photography is part of my life. I mean, I do a lot of teaching, and it's kind of what I do now as a job. But you know, I do. It doesn't matter whether I'm out walking the dog or whether I'm out specifically going to photograph. I can't stop myself from making images, and it's part of the process of just recording things that I find beautiful. I just can't help myself picking up the camera, and that's a wonderful thing to feel. The fact that you feel compelled, inspired, motivated to do that, even if you don't have an end result. And sometimes that not having an end result can actually help you be inspired and feel like
Yeah.
doing images as well.
And it frees you up in a way that you are maybe less precious if you don't have that end result in kind of a mind, that you are less precious about what you're doing. And I've experienced that once you kind of free things up, loosen up a little bit, then you are actually making space for new things to happen, for mistakes to happen, which are sometimes good learning experiences as well, and trying things that maybe normally you would not do. I like what you said about kind of this moment of like being in nature outside and just basically being enchanted. I think it's a kind of a big word for me this year in 2024. Wonder and enchantment, and kind of just letting yourself be amazed by the beauty around us.
Yeah. And I think that whole idea that you just said there about being brave enough to try and being scared, not scared to fail. I think if we can all go into that with our photography, I think our photography can blossom. When you worry about too much about whatever people think. And with my painting, I don't know whether you find the same. When you paint, it's actually even harder to put a paintbrush on the paper, or you do something and then you don't want to mess it up. With a camera, you can keep adding, you know, with multiple exposures, you can take away, you can just delete. But once you start, you can get very precious about a piece of paper. And for me, it's even worse than photography. I'm sat here with half finished things behind me. I'm just scared in case I mess them up. And I think that's I'm really looking forward to being part of the Scottish retreat and learning from you how you managed to take it into your photography, because you really do enjoy sort of experimenting to the next step further and on. And so that sort of brings me on to why we're both involved in running this workshop. I mean, for me, like, you spoke to our group like probably 6 months ago now, and I've known you for a number of years now, and I just love your work. I'm inspired by the creativity you bring to it. And so, you know, it was kind of a natural. I really enjoy working with other people, and you and I both seem to have a very similar ethos before, you know, about bringing a lot more to a photo or to the creative process. I think is more about it, isn't it? It's not just making a photo. And we sort of talk through this idea of making this sort of creative retreat rather than a photographic retreat. It's going to be so much more than that, isn't it? And for me, it's bringing a group of people together who can be themselves, express, explore in a safe environment when they're not scared. And if the group goes away after just the few days that we're together feeling like they tried something new that they would have never done before, had one of us not suggested it. That would be my biggest thing that somebody could go away with. You know, I've done photo tours before, and I come away and I feel like I'm on cloud nine. I float off the photo tour or the thing that I've done. And if everybody goes away with that feeling, I'd be super happy.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you got any sort of aspirations for the tour or?
Well, I think maybe you know, I just kind of want to echo some of what you have said, that kind of, you know, sharing experiences and sharing failures as well. Failures, I use that word, but to me, it's not a negative word, because once you kind of sit down and maybe think about what it is that has happened, you can come up. It's a creative situation when you can kind of just think creatively, and I think when there are other people, you can think together and kind of think what could be done differently, for example, and yeah, what else could we try? So it is definitely about sharing, but also I think when you were when you said you know, about safe environment, I thought about comfort as well, and I think it's a lovely idea. Like, we spend so much time you know, in virtual room like we are right now. And it's a completely different story when you actually meet with others in person, in a beautiful environment, in a beautiful scenery, people who are, you know, from different kind of walks of life, but share that interest. And also it's not just for an hour, for example, one evening, but it's kind of over a slightly more extended period of time, so you can become more comfortable with each other. And yes, it's definitely about creating a safe space where we can play and just yeah, just have a kind of a creative time doing all sorts of things, not just photography, not just you know, painting or whatever other art related activities, maybe a little bit of writing, maybe obviously walking, but also sharing food, for example, sitting around the fire and just sharing stories and sharing, you know, what it is that we kind of hope for as photographers or creative people, etc. So it's about creating that space and time where we can yeah, try something new. I think that's the and hopefully that will have a ripple effect on everybody's practice later, that they will that we all of us, because I'm hoping to learn as much from others as, you know, share what I have kind of learned so far with others, that we will all feel kind of in some sense emboldened or empowered to keep trying new things and yeah, experimenting and playing.
Yeah, no, and I continue to learn from my groups that I work with all the time, and the individuals that inspire me. And it doesn't matter whether they're professionals or amateurs or how old they are or how much experience they've got. I think everybody can take something away from what we're planning. And like you said, we've deliberately chosen a location and a place to stay that allows us to like treat it as our own house, isn't it? It's sort of,
Yeah.
we've got this space with a lounge, with a kitchen, we can do our own dining, or we can go out, you know, we can make a group decision. Everybody will kind of muck in. It's not going to be a sort of stand on ceremony 5-star affair. It's going to be like pretend you're at home, just enjoying yourself, which we're hoping will help the relaxing and the sort of enjoyment of just feeling a bit more comfortable around each other. But equally with space to spread out. If you want to spend time on your own, you can do that. We've got the beautiful how do you say it? Loch Katrine? How do you pronounce it? Loch Katrine, which is what, an hour and a half from Glasgow?
Yes, depending on the traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, around an hour and a half from Glasgow.
Yeah.
So
and about the same from Edinburgh, is it? It's
yes,
sort of
maybe
equidistant, isn't it?
a bit longer,
A
but
little bit longer.
yeah, much.
Yeah, but it's possible. We've got people flying into both of those who are staying with us. So, and we've got people coming from not just the UK. We've even got a couple of guys coming from America who are going to come and join us, which is really, really exciting that they're so keen to try something a little bit different. And anything else? Can we think of anything else? What we're going to do is Anya and I are going out in just a couple of weeks, aren't we, Anya? You've been there already. I haven't yet. So I'm gonna fly over. We're going to have a week end up there exploring. The plan is to come back to you in a few weeks when we've been with some photos, maybe with some little videos, and again whet your appetite to what to expect, but not give away too much, because we want it to be a nice surprise when you get there. Hopefully in awe of the location. Is there anything else that you think, having been there, Anya, that you'd like to just like you know, what's
Yeah, I just want to say it's a really beautiful spot, and you get the best of everything. So there's this beautiful loch, which when I was there last time, it was a beautiful, clear a day, blue skies, beautifully reflected in the loch. But I believe that loch will look beautiful no matter what the weather's like, whether it's rain, fog, dull skies, clear skies. We'll see. And there's quite a lot of woodland around the loch. You can see the hills as well. It feels a little bit remote, which I think is interesting because it kind of creates that kind of a time and space, like almost like a parallel world where you can, okay, so here I am. It's like a proper retreat. You retreat from the civilization, from the kind of a rush, and from the kind of a very fast-paced life that we probably all of us have. Just to retreat into that safety and beauty, into that safety of the beautiful spot, and just like experiment. Yeah, and we are hoping, of course, we are dependent on the weather, which, as we all know, in Scotland is quite changeable. But hopefully the weather will cooperate, and we'll get some time. Outdoors as well. But we are lucky enough to have a big house, so even if we have to spend some time during the day in the house, I think there's enough space there to keep experimenting. Yeah, and yeah, we'll have some activities to help us all loosen up and try out new things. But I think there will be also enough space for kind of to go with the flow and respond to what people are bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be fun.
Yeah.
A lot of
Brilliant. And
fun.
I experienced Scotland mainland 2 years ago for the first time, and believe me, the weather was not good when I was there, but I absolutely loved it. I even wanted to be outside in the pouring rain just to experience that whole being amongst the massiveness of the mountains compared to here in Holland. And I think sometimes it doesn't actually matter what the weather does, because if you're open to just expecting or accepting what you're given, without expectations, to just experience, whether it be that space, being on your own, the silence, because I expect most people come from places where it's not silent. Like you say, the reflections, the light, everything can change regardless of what the weather's doing. And I'm sure there'll be things that people find, even if they collect things outside and bring them into photograph, there will be so many opportunities. And we both are so creative and have so many ideas. It'll be, how many can we fit in the time? Equally, we won't be fitting so much in that you can't enjoy it, but we will make sure that we have loads and loads of ideas and things to be doing. So brilliant. Super. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Anya. It's nice to have a quick chat with you, and I'm really looking forward to coming and finding you. I've never been to Glasgow either, so I'm looking forward to, well, I think I'm looking forward to flying into Glasgow. Last time I came into Inverness, we flew around up in the clouds for an hour and a half because it was so bad on the ground. So
Well, I hope that that's not going to happen this time around.
I'm not selling that, am I? Sorry. So, but anyway, thank you very much, and look out for the next instalment. We'll put a date on it, and I'll put the date on the YouTube so you can see when we're going to be doing the next one as well. Brilliant.
Great,
Thanks
thank
very
you.
much.